Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. Well, as I'm starting to film this today, I don't know what I'm getting into. This is kind of an unboxing video. It's something that a fan of the channel sent us, and I thought we could open it together. Supposedly there's some kind of a broken guitar in here, maybe, I don't know, but we're gonna find out right now. So let's get to unboxing. All right, let's see what we got. Ah, cool. Well, this is definitely an Ibanez gem body. It's got a little damage here and there, but you know, we'll see what we can do with it. Ooh, I can feel the problem with this one. Yeah, I was afraid of that. This one's got a broken neck at the scarf joint. We'll see what we can do with that too. But it's a cool Steve Vai style neck. There's the rest of that neck. I'll have to play with this and see if it's all there or not. It looks close. Hopefully the rest of the fretboard's in here too. This looks like a humbucker. Alright, and the rest of this stuff looks like painting tools, so I'll put those to good use. But I definitely want to see if I can find the rest of this fretboard. Well, let's take some stuff apart and maybe we'll find it. Not in there, but there's definitely some good parts in here. Got a couple of humbuckers. Looks like they're splittable. And we've got full electronics. And I think we have the neck bolts and one more pickup and then the plastics. Alright, well, I'm not finding the rest of the fretboard, so I'm going to dig around a little bit more off camera. Alright, well, I've been digging around a while and I never found the piece of the fretboard that's missing. It's basically the rosewood between the nut and the second fret that's gone. I don't know what I need to do about that just yet, so I guess we'll just have to wait and see. There's some fairly significant issues with this body as well. I'm not sure if this body is plywood or not, but definitely it's taken some hits in the corners, and it looks like pieces are delaminating from the top. I think I can inject some glue in there, but we'll have to see how far that goes. And honestly, I'm not going to invest a lot of time in this project just yet until I do some research on the fretboard. Alright, after some further investigation, I think what needs to be done, and I'm not sure I'm going to actually be able to pull it off, but I'm going to try. There's a lateral crack that runs along the grain here in the fretboard itself, and the fretboard is also separating from the neck in probably this last fret area here, which is actually the third fret. So I've got to do two things. First of all, I've got to fix this fretboard, which is going to involve injecting some glue into this lateral crack and then trying to get some underneath the fretboard as well to hold it all down. Then we've got to repair the neck and add a little piece of fretboard to that. So it's going to involve putting all this back together again and adding a couple of frets worth of rosewood and getting it all level and radius again. That's the part I'm not sure I'm going to be able to pull off, but I'm going to try. So I'm going to be ordering some tools, and it's going to take some time before we get to an episode 2, that's for sure. I'm going to order a 12-inch radius block, even though I know this is not currently a 12-inch radius. I think that's something that I'll be able to reuse more in the future, and I think it's a pretty good radius to use with a Floyd Rose if that's the direction I decide to go, because I am missing the original bridge on this gem. The other issue that I've got with this neck is that I don't actually have the first 2 frets, so I've got to replace some of the frets anyway, and I might as well just do them all. Okay, so let's go ahead and attempt some of this glue work that I need to do, and I think what I'm going to do is wedge something in here just to kind of open this up just a tad. I think that'll do it. And then I'm going to use my old glue syringe that I used on one of the acoustic guitar projects that I did. But anyway, I filled this with a little bit of thinned down Titebond glue. And so I'll inject it where I can, and then I'm going to try to use some compressed air to push the glue into some of the places where this won't reach. Okay, well that actually worked pretty well. I'll need to clamp this, of course, and I've got to do the glue work on this other side. Okay, well I've never used that compressed air trick before, but I'm going to be doing that from now on because I can see glue coming out of every pore along that crack, and that's perfect. I guess the only issue is I'm not sure how I could have protected that truss rod any better, but this PVA glue shouldn't really stick to the truss rod anyway. All right, I'm gonna let that set up for an hour or so before I try anything else. Well, round one of gluing has gone pretty well, and the fretboard is now secure and the crack is closed. So I think it's ready for us to assemble the headstock back onto the neck. You'll notice that I've already gone ahead and cleaned up the surfaces that used to have old fretboard attached on both of these pieces. So it's pretty much ready to go. I just have to basically get things aligned, and I don't know any other way to do that except just to do it by sight. So that's how I'm going to do it. I'm just going to try to match up the old cuts where things were, clamp it together. There are some cracks back here in the back of this scarf joint. It's just basically where the wood under the truss rod channel got a little bit separated and split out. There's also an equivalent chip on the piece here in between the two screws for the Floyd Rose nut. I'm just going to do my best to get all that clamped together as best I can, and then I've got to figure out some kind of repair for that chipped wood, but that comes later. All right, so far so good. I'm gonna throw a couple more clamps on here and then I'll just leave it to dry. So while we're waiting on the neck, I thought I would address some of the issues with the body, or at least one of them, which is this big chunk of wood that's actually separated. The crack goes across the side, then across the front, so it's kind of a wedge shape, and I just need to inject some glue in there. I'm gonna use the compressed air trick again to try to drive that glue through the repair until I see it coming out both sides all the way down the crack, and then I'll put a clamp on it. Okay, now I just need to let this one set up before I can take the clamp off. Well, I've continued to kind of chip away at this, somewhat literally actually, and I've removed the rest of the fretboard, but this is what it looks like when everything's all glued together. There is a little bit of damage that remains in this area here, right into the holes for the Floyd Rose nut, so I'm not sure what to do about that yet. I'm thinking about doing some kind of a spline, or maybe another kind of a patch or something across the back of this, but I'm gonna have to figure out how to even attack that with the router. Maybe I'll use a chisel, I don't know. But at any rate, I think I have the rosewood figured out for the fretboard. I got a piece of rosewood from a banjo fretboard or ukulele fretboard. I'm just gonna section a small piece of it out, put it in here, and then I'm gonna use a radius block to re-radius the whole fretboard at once. Well, that's going to be it for this episode. I've got a lot of things planned, like I said, but I'm doing this in small pieces and I've got other projects along the way. So I won't be doing this one in consecutive videos, but I will create a playlist where if you see this later on, you'll be able to watch everything in order. I want to thank Tom for the donation of this project. I know he kind of wanted to challenge me a little bit, and I appreciate that. And I always appreciate the chance to grow and learn some new skills. I also want to thank everyone for your likes and your comments. Be sure to check out Hack's Guitar Hobby Facebook group. You can find that link in the description, along with links to Amazon and eBay, where if you shop there, you'll help out my channel. As always, I appreciate the subscriptions. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you next time.